I'd lived in Maplewood Estates for 12 years before the HOA really started to flex its power. At first, it was small things, letters about lawn height, the color of my mailbox, or how my truck didn't fit the neighborhood aesthetic. I shrugged it off. I worked long hours as a contractor, and I wasn't about to let a bunch of clipboard warriors ruin my peace. But everything changed when Karen joined the HOA board. Karen was the kind of woman who treated the HOA as her personal fiefdom. Short blonde bob, designer sunglasses even on cloudy days, and a voice that could cut drywall. The moment she became president, she started pushing community improvement initiatives. That sounded innocent enough until I learned what improvement meant. I owned one of the largest lots in the neighborhood, 3 acres on the edge of the development. My house sat near the front, leaving a wide, wooded area behind it. It was peaceful, full of birds and old oak trees. Apparently, Karen and the board saw it differently. They saw wasted potential. One Saturday morning, I found her and 2 HOA members standing at the edge of my fence with clipboards. "Morning, Ms. Clark," Karen called. "We were just admiring your property. The board's been discussing plans for a community clubhouse and pool, and your land would be perfect for it." I thought she was joking. "My land? You mean the land I pay taxes and mortgage on?" Karen smiled like a car salesman. "Of course. You'd be compensated, well, eventually. It would really raise property values for everyone." I told her no, plain and simple. That was my land. But she didn't back down. Over the next few weeks, I started getting letters, official ones, about code violations that didn't exist. The HOA fined me for having a non-approved structure, my tool shed, and for unauthorized tree density. I kid you not. When I confronted her, she smirked. Rules are rules. But if you were willing to cooperate with the clubhouse project, we could make these issues disappear. That's when I realized this wasn't about rules. It was about control. She thought she could pressure me into giving up my land. But Karen didn't know who she was messing with. I'd built my home with my own hands. I wasn't about to let some HOA tyrant take it away. So, I started thinking about how to fight back. Not with yelling or letters. With something bigger. And when the construction company came knocking, I knew exactly what to do. The idea hit me like a lightning bolt. I'd been fending off HOA harassment for weeks when I got a call from a local developer, Green Rock Construction. They were expanding into the area and looking for land to build a small commercial plaza. I almost laughed when I realized my back lot fit their zoning needs perfectly. I invited the rep, a sharp guy named Daniel, over for coffee. As we sat on my porch, he flipped through blueprints and maps. "Your property's location is gold. We could put up a grocery store, a couple of restaurants, maybe even a gas station." I nodded slowly, sipping my coffee. "You offering to buy the land?" He grinned. "At fair market value, plus a development bonus if the county approves our permits fast." It was tempting, but I needed to be sure. "What about zoning?" "The HOA's been breathing down my neck." Daniel chuckled. "They have zero say in county zoning. Trust me, once we file permits, it's between us and the county board." I could already see Karen's face turning red. "Send me the paperwork." Within a week, I had an offer in hand, way more than I'd ever get selling to a neighbor. I signed the agreement and made sure to notify the HOA, as required. When Karen saw the notice taped to my mailbox, she stormed over that evening, heels clacking on my driveway like gunfire. "You can't sell that land. It's part of the HOA jurisdiction." "Not exactly," I said, smiling. "That lot predates Maplewood Estates. It was never annexed into your bylaws." County confirmed it. Her jaw dropped. But that land borders the neighborhood. Then you'll have a great view of the new parking lot." Her face went from pink to crimson. "You're ruining this community." I shrugged. "No, Karen. I'm just using my property. You know, that thing homeowners are supposed to have rights over. She threatened to take it to the board, to escalate legally, to rally the neighbors. None of it mattered. The deal was sealed, the permits filed, and the county was on board. That night, I sat on my porch and watched the sunset over the oaks, knowing it was the last time I'd see them. It was bittersweet, but also deeply satisfying. Karen had wanted to take my land for her clubhouse. Instead, she was about to get a shopping center behind her precious HOA fences. And that was just the beginning. 2 months later, the construction trucks rolled in. Bulldozers, excavators, cement mixers, the whole fleet. The ground trembled as the first trees came down. Neighbors gathered at the cul-de-sac, whispering like they were watching a scandal unfold. Karen stood at the front of the crowd, arms crossed, lips pressed so tight they nearly disappeared. I walked over, coffee in hand. "Morning," I said cheerfully over the roar of machinery. "What do you think you're doing?" She shouted. "Making progress," I said. "Green Rock starting the site prep today." She was fuming. "You can't do this. This is a residential community. You're destroying the character of the neighborhood." I laughed. "Funny, you wanted to build a clubhouse right here. Guess you're just mad someone beat you to it." She actually stomped her foot. "I'll call the county. The city. The police." "Go ahead," I said. "Everything's permitted and legal. You can check the public records." That night, she went on the neighborhood Facebook page, ranting about a selfish resident who betrayed the community. The comments section exploded. Half the people defended her. Half thought she'd gone off the deep end. I didn't respond. I didn't have to. A week later, she called an emergency HOA meeting. I went. Out of pure curiosity. The room was packed. Karen stood at the front, pacing like a general preparing for battle. "This development will destroy our property values," she declared. "We must take action." A few board members shifted uncomfortably. One of them, Tom, spoke up. "Karen, the county already approved it. There's nothing we can do." She glared at him. "We must do something." Then she turned to me. "You've doomed this neighborhood for your own greed." I leaned back, arms crossed. "No, I just didn't let you bully me. You tried to fine me into submission. You wanted to take my land for free. Now you'll have a coffee shop and gas station next door. Seems like karma, doesn't it?" Gasps rippled through the crowd. Karen's face twisted. You're a menace." "Maybe," I said, standing up. "But at least I'm a law-abiding one." As I left, people whispered. Some even clapped quietly. For the first time, Karen didn't have control. And when the steel frames started going up 2 weeks later, her fancy Maplewood welcome sign came down, literally crushed under a delivery truck. I didn't plan that part, but I can't say I didn't enjoy it. By the time the plaza opened 6 months later, Maplewood Estates had changed forever. The once quiet neighborhood now had steady traffic from shoppers and delivery vans. The HOA tried to fight it. Of course, noise complaints, light pollution claims, even an aesthetic disruption lawsuit, but they lost every single one. Karen's reign began to crumble. Residents started questioning why their fees were so high when she'd failed to stop the project. Rumors spread that she'd used HOA funds for legal research that went nowhere. Eventually, a vote was held to remove her as president. It passed by a landslide. I wasn't at the meeting, but I heard from Tom that Karen stormed out crying, yelling something about ungrateful neighbors. She sold her house a month later. Ironically, she moved into a different HOA community 2 towns over. Some people never learn. As for me, the plaza thrived. Green Rock sent me a thank you check once the first phase opened, a small bonus for letting them install utility easements. I used it to finally rebuild my workshop and put in a new deck. Occasionally, I'd walk over to the cafe built right on the edge of my former property. I'd grab a coffee, sit outside, and watch cars pull in and out. Sometimes, I'd catch new residents of Maplewood stopping by, curious and smiling. One afternoon, Tom joined me. "You know," he said, "you might have actually saved this place." I laughed. "By selling half of it off?" He nodded. "The HOA's a lot quieter now. People realized we don't need to be ruled by fear of fines. Karen was poison, and you flushed her out. Plus, now we've got a grocery store 5 minutes away." I smiled at that. I hadn't set out to make a statement. I just wanted peace. But maybe, in some twisted way, it worked out for everyone, except Karen. Sometimes, neighbors still whisper about the woman who sold out the HOA. They say it like it's a scandal. But when I look around, seeing families at the cafe, teens walking to the ice cream shop, I just smile. Because here's the truth, they wanted my land for their clubhouse. Their symbol of control. But I turned it into something better. And every time I drive past the shiny new Maplewood Plaza sign, I think of Karen's face that day, the pure disbelief that someone dared to say no. Best real estate decision I ever made.